Yeah, Prof here. I just finished troubleshooting my Happy Hacking keyboard there, and no dice. We've got some weird keys that gotta sign into my desktop. Here, you want to see something weird on the LGs? They have auto detect on for input, but if they're on an input and another input wakes up, they will not switch until you wake the monitors up manually. And the menu icon has to pop up, then it'll switch. This, however, because it's an OLED, I was gonna say aggressive on-off there. So what we're going to do is deal with that so I can go to sleep. Yeah. There's a wee bit going on at the moment. The shipping tended to do the thing that it does lately, where it doesn't come when it's supposed to, and then all of the shipping comes. This guy's got to get installed over in the Cheapster, PC, since Nathan got mine, and we needed to get his build done. That just came in the other day, so I can install it. Here, I'll take you over there. PC right now has literally no cooler. It's just a bare CPU in there. So, obviously you're not going to run her like that. First things today, though, is not any of this stuff. It's what I promised in the OG iFixit video. And that was something that's been kicking around here for a while that you guys have seen a preview of, that I said I would do an in-depth video of, and I just never did. Everybody's got one. And that includes Corsair. Still gotta pick myself up the new micro version of this, the Streamlight. It's the size of a carpenter pencil, which is impressively small. Alright, you can see my Pocari sweat. I'm thirsty. So, if you guys haven't seen it, I know it says Trident of Olympus, but effectively, this is the OG iFixit precision screwdriver bit set. Actually, with some improvements, because the extensions are actually magnetic. And I'm 99% sure there's still remnants on these two of not being magnetic. So, either iFixit updated them after a while, or these guys did after the fact. We got the LTT here, right? Then we've got the Mako, I believe, which is the classic. You can see this one's grungy comparatively. Got a bunch of brown dust and dirt on it. That's what happens when you actually use it in the field. Brown. An improvement that they could do right away on here that iFixit could fix. If you look, the blue foam is underneath this black foam. Do what LTT did, flip that around. Have the blue foam on top so you can more easily see it, and have the black foam down below. Let's see though what Corsair has done. I think we did take a sneak peek back when this guy came in. Yeah, I had to get the Mac mouse. Yes, it's in a Vaxi case. That's just so in my drawer it doesn't get wrecked. The M75 wireless non-air. They don't make this one in the air with the clear blue, but the non-air Doesn't have DPI adjustment on the mouse, like boop, boop, boop either. This thing is pretty chonky though, and for the weight, it's kind of slippy. But when this came in, I needed to add. It was one of those things where it's like it's cheaper to add money than pay like buy more products than it is to pay for shipping, sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, I haven't checked out. I didn't even know Corsair had their own, and this isn't like them selling an iFixit, right? This is actually a Corsair branded. Those of you may know that Corsair, I don't know if this is the kit from it. NZXT did it as well. They both had like kits where you could build your own PC, and they had everything you needed to do it. I think in Corsair's, this one's included. I think NZXT might have had a more desktop-oriented screwdriver. So I'm interested in that one. If any of you have the screwdriver from NZXT, because they wanted some stupid amount when you ordered it outside of, you know, what they shipped it as. Let's see, your warranty guide. Well, that's a big thing for me with iFixit. Lifetime warranty. What do we got for Corsair? Corsair limited warranty. The fuck does that mean? Free from defects. Warranty start date may vary. So their warranty guide doesn't even, like, you would say that, you would think, at least I would think, that they would have in the warranty guide how long your fucking warranty is. But basically they're just saying it's free from defects. So that's no warranty. Effectively, right? 2023 box, 2024 warranty guide. I think I bought it in 2025. 65-bit, right around the same amount as the others. Not huge on Corsair's new box design where they all look the same yellow. It's just hard to tell what you're buying. So this case is already feels bigger and bulkier than needed. So it's got this little pursed lip here. You can see it. It's definitely right, but like that's some cheapest chips plastic. This iFixit's more rigid, smoother. You know, I think the LTT is even better, but this feels real cheap. Okay, so it is at least held with magnets in the corners, but you can tell even by that there's way more bulk than needed here. If you see this too, this is definitely ABS. You can see by that sheen, right? That's ABS. You can see some sprue on the mold where they inject it. This is just like a cheaper. Here. See the wall? They need way more material here to do what iFixit's doing. All right, so basically this thickness here is bigger. They also, because it's easier to do, put less squares in. More squares, and the material between the squares on the iFixit is thicker. So it's adding more rigidity. LTTs, they have little magnets in between all the squares, right? Much more complex design. What Corsair did to get a magnet in here is they basically, and maybe this is why it has these, like it's thicker on the outside, is this domed part here. That's just one big magnet. Oh, that's not good. Here, this is just foam, but when I'm pulling the bit out, I was pulling, you can see right there, pulling the whole foam up. Drop a glue behind here, guys. Jeez. World's weakest magnet. You should be able to take this, put that on there, and not do that. Let's test. maybe LTTs could be stronger too. Yeah, I'm going to say, despite LTT still falling off, this is a thicker magnet material. I can tell by the shade of, like, that's just raw magnet right there, basically. Raw magnet material. Whereas this LTT is going for a much more refined product, right? And that's much thinner. That's got more pull to it. Here, I'll try to go butt first. Oh, it doesn't want to do that. I can even lift up the lid slightly with that. Whereas here, I don't know. It's just, it's a magnet. It's in the lid. Okay, if you're paying the same so far for a Corsair as you are an iFixit, get the iFixit. You know, if you're paying the same as an LTT, all right, so does it stack? No. Downgrade. Even the iFixit, because it's got magnets here, or at least metal studs. I don't know if those are actually magnets. It'll stack like that. Meaning, what you can do is you can put your your parts in here, your screws, cover it up. Good. There, that's perfectly fitment. I guess if you put that edge in. All right. Now, if you're going all the way back to this guy, okay, fine. But, you know, that stays on there. Here, the LTT is even better, because this is a lid, just like the original iFixit kit. All right, I like that. Feels very solid. This is also flat, meaning it doesn't flip over. Downside of iFixit, a number of times I have done that. I actually try to avoid putting things, or even here. See, that'll shift all your, because this is magnetic. If it tipped, which you probably won't do, your stuff wouldn't change. Whereas here, that is enough tippage to shift where your screws are in there, from my experience. So I almost avoid using the lid. This does tip. I don't think you're gonna flip it. You can, but I don't know if a cat putting a paw on it, I think, is only going to tip it, not flip it. That's resolved by just, oh look, this doesn't flip because it's flat. I don't, you know, because that's a big thing. Now, if you have the screws in the middle that are magneted, probably not an issue. But if you have them here, I've done it with the iFixit before. Oh, and you just yeeted some Phillips 1 M3 screws all the way across your room. All right, let's check out the screwdriver. Yeah, probably about as good as the original iFixit screwdriver when it comes to the spinniness of it. This is good. Like this height, they have that right. You want this little inlet here, right? Right where you take this, you put it on your palm, and then your fingers in here to do this, right? So that's just about perfect. I would say, though, my hand size, or at least finger length to hand size, is about as small, because I could even be a little bit longer. So this is definitely made for big, because I'm almost like getting up near the holes here, right? So, you know, it could probably be a little bit either not as bulbous here, right? Or, what do you want to say? Like taper quicker, taper quicker, or start it back even further, But it's because I would like my fingers to fit right here, not right like here. Let's do a 2x zoom here. I want my fingers to be right here, not right there, which is where they are when I go like this. Like, you take that, put it on the ball of your hand. Tee, a term that doesn't exist, but if you see where my fingers are right there, they're kind of up here. They should be, like, I'd want them to be there. But I think the design is probably better than some. Like, if we try that same trick with LTT, like, you're on this grip part back here, and that's because it holds bits, right? I also think as good as LTT, I might have mentioned this in previous videos if you've watched my video on them, as good as LTT has crushed the knurling on there, this guy, listen to that knurling, some of the grippiest knurling ever. That is too fine. This knurling should be on there. Be brilliant. It's too fine. So I like that there's a little bit coarser of a knurling on here. I don't particularly like that it's broken up like this. Not a fan of that. That actually gets, if you're using it all the time, or if you're really pushing, you actually start getting indents in your fingers like that from it. And you'll actually get sore. Like if you grip it in the same spot every time, like say you hold it like this and you grip it, and then every time you get those, you'll start getting like bruising. Because if it was just flat, you wouldn't have that. So this is like one of those things that looks more tactical than it is. The problem with this ass end too, and it's a problem that a lot of people have with the iFixit one, is it's way butt heavy. You want it to be neutrally weighted, right? It's like super butt heavy, and it's all because of this big guy right here that actually spins better than, realistically what you want, and a lot of precision screwdrivers will do it. The original iFixit got that right. You want this bit just enough to be there to spin, right? Surprisingly, this screwdriver, they got very right. The thinnest part is where you grip. It is at a good distance when you hold it like this to spin it between your fingers like this. But where they went down is there's not enough indexing on this or gripping, and these O-rings just slip. And here I can grab. I don't have a fellow precision screwdriver, but I do have a Craftsman. You can see here, generally speaking, this is pretty, like, as thin as it can be. Like, you don't need all this, right? To be truthful, that might fix this too, because if this was shallower, that would move your hand down. So instead of having this big, thick thing, if you would take it like they did here and cut that down to be that thick, so like a quarter of the height back here, right? A quarter of the height. Look at the original, right? That would actually move your hand down further. Then you don't have to adjust the body. Same thing here if you look. And why is this so long? I don't know if I can get this one off. There you go. Because that's where this part is all in that part where it snaps on, right? So that's why this lower part exists. I don't know if that's needed here or not. If it's not needed, cut it off too. But yeah, you do not need... It's way bigger and heavier than needed, and it throws off. Like, if anything, you want it tip heavy. Like, I would rather have a neutral balance, but if anything... Here, we'll get the Bernoulli out. This thing, it's balanced, it's weighted in the grip, right? Once you have a bit in it. So if we say, go on the iFixit here, we grab our 1/4 inch to 4mm, and then we pop in a Phillips 1. There you go. It's all weighted up here. Right? And then here, put this here. spinny, 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 spinny. Spin, 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 spin. Tighten her down, right? So that's kind of where the ergonomics of a lot of these are a bit ass backwards. Oh, that's the Scout Leather Co. Bernally Big Boy in titanium. Here's the hex bit driver, which is actually more of a direct comparison to these other ones that you guys have seen, but same sort of thing, right? We got some knurling up front here, and then you got the skinny part here that you can run and spin, right? And you can put, even though these are 1/4 inch, a lot of them are really designed for 1/4 inch to 4mm adapters. So I think shape of this is fine. I would prefer a tri-flat rather than a dual flat here. The reason why I went dual flat, it's going to be easier because they have the hole in here. My question on the hole, though, is you do not provide anything to put through the hole to get more leverage. Like the original iFixit, they said take this extension out and put it in, and then, right, you get more leverage. Or I would probably like that, or like this. A lot of times where you would have this out already anyway, is this wasn't magnetized. This body only was originally. Yeah, so the hole is nice when you need to get more leverage on something. However, there is not, as far as I'm aware, like that's not going to give you more leverage, right? And you're like, oh, use the flexible extension. I don't. It's flexible. That's just going to bend. It's going to waste your... You're going to throw it on the ground and waste your effort. Here's something I don't understand with this thing. This thing, here, it's already bent, right? Cheap, cheesy, and cheap as chips. You can see that is that black. And you can always tell these are cheap when they have this same black, I think it's aluminum, with a milled out line on it. Same as that little original extension from the original iFixit kit. Same as if you go on Slamazon, that link down in the description, because Wiha doesn't make these anymore, the good ones anymore at least, and you get this magnetic extension that's a bit longer, right? Almost the same length as the flex bit. I might have an extra one of these and I would put it, I might have to pull some foam out, but I would rather have a straight extension than this thing. And also the fact that this is already pre-bent, like there's way more restriction. Here, let me grab an iFixit. Here's an iFixit. Super inflexible. As much as I don't like these, and you hold one of the, you hold like the end, so you can spin it, right? This Corsair, you can tell that this is like not that nice with silicone here. It's just like a harder tube, and this is just like, I don't know, it retains memory. Normally those are like a spring underneath there. This feels more like a bendable rod or something. I'm sure I could pull it apart and find out, but I don't know if I necessarily want to. The other thing that's kind of weird is why it has this notch. That notch is what is on 1/4 inch bits to put in like a power bit into a keyless chuck? No, a quick change, 1/4 inch quick change chuck. Like this RC car one. See? This is on there, and then you just go boop. Locks on. Okay. Kind of cheap and shitty, but locks on. That is not a thing for 4mm bits. So I have no idea. At least it's not a thing as far as I'm aware. Like, it's not standardized. Also, just for those that don't know this, if you buy Japanese bits, which you might for Vessel, make sure you're buying from Vessel USA, because in Japan the butt end of this is longer. Don't know why. That's also like I kind of want a Japanese imported Makita impact driver. Those things are crazy. I need to figure out though if I can either put a US Makita chuck on it, so US bits fit properly, or if there's a way to like if it can still accept US 1/4 inch bits properly. But yeah, this feels more like a instead of a spring in here, it feels like more like a metal rod that can sort of bend. I would in a heartbeat, if I made sure I had another one of these, go like that and replace the shit out of this. Or if I do what I did on my iFixit here, if you haven't seen those videos, I pulled out the foam underneath, and underneath there, that's the Wiha one. And you just hide it. There you go. Perfect, right? So I might be able to cut out this foam and put this in, and then put that back on top of it. Right? Yeah, like that. Just need to have some more room. They did something interesting too. The iFixit has double layer of foam. Like it's got the black and the blue, and then underneath there's another blue. And that's for these other things, so it's all level. The Corsair, as you can see here, went a little bit of a different route. They only require 1 layer of foam for the bits, so this whole thing only has a layer of foam, and then they put a layer of foam on top for their screwdriver and their shitty extension. Here, put that on there. Yeah, like if you go the way it wants to bend, it like bends acutely right there, rather than having a nice like even sproing. And you can see it's retaining more and more. Now if I try to bend it the other way, it almost flips because it doesn't, you can see it doesn't want to. Even the old iFixit style is better than that. Here. Look at that, I can even change where the bend is. Yeah. I don't like these. Also, if you try to use them as a straight extension, they just give in. So I think these come in 2-packs, so I'm probably gonna, now looking at it, I'm probably gonna buy another 2-pack of this magnetic straight extension, so I can have one in this old iFixit kit, and I can have one in this Corsair kit, to at least keep them as useful as I can. Let's do a, can we do a 5x zoom in? It might not focus. Hey, we got it, look at that. I'm surprised they haven't prioritized, like Phillips is going to be your most common. Why that isn't down here. Usually they put on iFixit and LTT and all these other brands, they're going to put the sockets up top, least used, generally followed by your Allen, then your Torx, then, you know, like there's a hierarchy. Your most used stuff should be at the bottom closest to you. Apparently Corsair thinks your most used things are going to be flats, then Phillips, then Hex. Don't know why. Right here, flat heads, Phillips heads, then Hex drivers, then Torx. Then what do we have? We got the Y. Oh, we got pause drive. That's good. Then we got Torx. More Torx? Oh, this was Pentalope. Then Torx. Then Allen. Then some of these security. I think a drunken person laid this out. Okay, so I'm going to point out that there's a reason why iFixit doesn't put these straight up. I think Corsair may have thought it's easier, or that they could fit more in. That is much less dense than either of these, I think. I mean, maybe it's more dense. I don't know. I guess it would be more dense. They're just harder to get. Okay, so how iFixit got away with keeping stuff denser originally is you could take this whole shit out, grab it, pull a bit out, take your bit, put it in there. You got a bit, right? Now, if you notice on these older iFixit, they tapered the ass. See, to make it easier to. Because remember, it's not the butt that does the locking in; it's the sides, right? So if we go to the new iFixit, does it also have tapered butt? That was a Phillips 1. Here's a Phillips 1. Slightly less tapered, but still tapered butt. Fits in here real good. The magnet on the Corsair screwdriver itself is actually pretty good. LTT. Phillips 1. Tapered butt. Slightly less tapered. Kind of understandable for the LTT because their amount of hex is even less. They're at a third hex, right? Whereas the second gen iFixit is at, and here, you see, that's why they can do a third hex. Even on this Corsair, a third still is enough to lock in fully. Having any more hex above the thing that holds it, what's the point, right? But they have less taper on the butt because there's less hex there. How much for? Barely any. Look at that. That reminds me of what was on the Skill. If you look at that, look back at that video. There's barely any on there. Makes it much harder, actually. Like the reason why I checked is because I could feel it bind up when you line it up to get it in. Not that that's a huge thing, right? But it's just a thing. These guys are very going old school. They're going the 1/3, 2/3 rule, like old school iFixit. The Skill, everybody. I mean, they're even going less than the old iFixit. If you look, you have less tip on there. That means you're going to have even less length to get into something, right? That's why the LTT went 2/3, 1/3, so that you have you can fit that much into a device before it's going to start binding up and hitting stuff, like in grinding off plastic or not being able to further poke in. Right? Take a look at that. So they're going pretty old school with these bit designs. Like this seems like just generic company. It's not S2 steel as well. It's CRV, which is chrome vanadium, I think. Not necessarily bad, but S2 is going to be a better, that's a standard tool still for a bit. All of these are S2. I don't know if they put S2 on here. I don't think LTT did. They do on their bigger ones. And they wanted to do the black coating on these, but because they're so much smaller, adding that layer of coating, I believe, would throw off the bit dimensions. And as much crap as I give iFixits, they are S2. I mean, this is also this 4mm to 1/4 inch Phillips 2. Yeah, this whole shaft's 4mm. Really nice for building PCs. I think I've seen some SIs using torque wrenches or at least vertical electric screwdrivers and similar bits. I believe I've seen maybe not 4mm, but at least thinner shank ones used for drywalling. So I don't know if that's where they came from, but these are S2 PH2. So they could be with a better steel. I don't know if I have any. A lot of cheaper screwdrivers are chrome vanadium. There you go. Like cheaper, but still quality. Here's a tool shop brand from Menards, chrome vanadium, and this is literally a $1 to $2 screwdriver, at least pre-COVID. Who the fuck knows what it is now? I think even these Noctuas are S2, not chrome vanadium. Yeah. That's an SD2. What's this one? SD1. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, so that's definitely a lower quality, and you can kind of tell by how chromy. Is that chrome layer that often flakes off. So another thing I would say that I noticed right away is okay, do you see the LTT? They also tapered. How they got away with that slightly less taper on their bits is, do you see they tapered their bit holder? It's a little cup shape, right? That means even these far less tapered bits, right, slip right in. Because this is tapered. I didn't notice that before. I don't think the iFixit might be, but definitely not to the same extent. This has a little bit. You can see it there, but I do think, and I would have to get the calipers out probably, that is a much thinner shaft or shank than this is on the Corsair. This is a much thinner diameter here than that is. Like I can actually tell by hand, just feeling these up, that this is a thicker. LTT is a touch thinner, I believe, than the iFixit aluminum one is, like the one that came in this case. I probably should have that one because a lot of you be like, oh, why don't you compare it? That's the one I've got. If you've already got that one, don't buy the Corsair. My opinion. So here's I'm just gonna show you this. I'm fumbling to get these flatheads out of here. Here, you want a bit, you go here, you go that way, and you get it, and you push down, you push back. That, or you can have them, like I wouldn't have them all, you know, but you move one and you pull it out, right? So they're not in line. Yeah, a little bit of leeway. These, because they're directly vertical, you just gotta like pluck one and hope it comes out. A bunch of these don't want to come out, and I have to like wiggle them. But if you wiggle them like that, right? This, like here, like that foam's eventually going to become wallowed out because you're having to like, then it won't grab them, and you go like this, and they all go bing, 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 bing. Here. Like here, I can't even get my finger. That's why they have this. You know, they have it where you can move it that way. Oop, I didn't put that screwdriver back in properly. Or here, you can just pull that up and out and then take it out. Here on the LTT, very similar to the iFixit, where they all kind of sit like that, and you can pull it out and you push down, push it back in, and that kind of locks it in because there's like a little bit of an overhang of sorts. Very similar, actually, if you look at my DeWalt bits, the later generation, and actually the updated Milwaukee bit set with the pack out, they work a similar way. Now I have to imagine it's much more expensive to make that sort of foam mold that they're using there, versus, you know, just my thing here is like, okay, if I want this bit, like I have to use, if you didn't have nails to grab this, good luck. Good freaking luck. But say this is all you got, or you got it with your Corsair thing, or they threw, like when I threw this on, like it was like many dollars off. Like it was actually a decent deal because I bought it with a bunch of other stuff. So what do we have? We have slotted 4mm down to 1.3. There's actually a 1.0. Yep, that's the same. They have quad 0. I don't know. That's impossible. See? Quad 0. Maybe not impossible. I got it eventually. I don't know what JM CRV plus 1.0. Shouldn't the bit say, if that's a quad 0, it should have 4 zeros. CRV plus 1.5. So they're measuring the Phillips in millimeter size. I don't think that's how you normally do it, but hey, whatevs. Good they have quad zero, because iFixit does not. I don't know if those are GIS compliant. To me, they look very Phillips looking. Or JCIS, JS, JCS, same thing. But God, yeah, these look so old school. Okay. My eyeballs are saying that's a Phillips. It even looks a bit undersized, to be truthful, versus both of the Phillips ones. And I mean, they aren't technically rating them. This is a 3mm, but I don't know that Monsieur Philippe has ever measured in 3mm. And they're saying this is a 4mm. This is a Phillips too. Yeah, like the flutes are shorter. The head's smaller and more blunt. I really don't know how well these are gonna fit. I don't necessarily know if they're gonna strip anything out, but I don't know that I have anything readily available to test that. But we got the two sizes of, I'm not gonna call them external torques. I forget what they're called. They get the little notchies on the outside. They're taken out apart like the SNES. It's a 4.5 and a 3.8. I forget. I think they call them like gamer. They got G on there for gamer bits. 4.5, 3.8. I'm pretty sure a lot of these places are just copying iFixit. We've got 5.5 mil down to 2.5 mil, and we've got 5.5 mil down to 2.5 mil. Wow, they've copied them directly. This is 5 to 2.5 up here. 3.8, 4.5. I mean, iFixit did really nail in this original kit over here the bits, like which ones. These only go up to T20. I'd like to see a T25. They call this an SO 1.5. I don't know why this is just called a standoff bit. Right? I also don't know why it has the point on it. Usually the standoff bits are just stars. Like this guy. I guess it does have a little bit of point. I'm used to them just being, they call it SDF or standoff. Yeah, I think you might get a little confused with the Corsair because all of their stuff is rated in millimeters. I guess Torx isn't, but all their other ones so far have been done in like a square 2. Does this say SQ2? It actually does. Why doesn't Phillips say PH2 then? So triangle 3mm. Okay, those are done in 1, 2, 3, I guess. They only have the 1 and the 2 in here. They only have 1 and 2 square. I think the old iFixit had square 0. Yeah. I always like seeing a square 0. That's when you don't see often. Does LTT have square 0? They do too. The updated iFixit kit does not have square 0, I don't believe. Nope, they only go down to square 1. Oh, here's the standoff bit. I missed it. Yeah, it's not as, they're kind of pointy. The iFix is kind of pointy, the LTT is kind of pointy. The Corsair is, look at that, it almost looks like a sim tool on the tip. It's so friggin' pointy. So we're going down to Ugh. What? Okay, I'm sorry to say, but I think this kit's basically next to useless. T6 is the smallest it goes. What? Oh, that's supposed to be security T6. I don't know why they would do this. That's on from my eyes. You can see, you guys are actually seeing that as being more depth on the camera, I think. So here's fucking weird. T6, then the torques continue up here. T6, T5, T4, T3. We have some T2s on some of these kits. These other kits, yeah. The newer iFixit has a T2. The older iFixit only goes down to a T3. Hey, you're seeing a downside of the older iFixit right there. LTT does go to T2. So you are missing a T2. I don't know. What I would do if this wasn't labeled in here is pull this row out, because these triangles and squares have no relation at all to this pentalobe right there, right? So these torques right here should be right there. These two rows should be flipped. Problem solved. I mean, it does a pause drive. I'm 99% sure. They even have them PZ 4.0. Pause drive is not, I mean, like maybe the specs are in millimeters, right? Since it is a, European standard. But that's not how pause drive works. Pause drive is 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Just like, Phillips. I don't think we have PZ on here. TR, T. Yeah, there's no point also in having a security torque 6 and a normal torque 6. That's just insanity. So the LTT does not have pause drive. The iFixit definitely doesn't, because it has JCIS and Phillips. Let's put this back. Does this have pause drive? Where was I seeing pause drive? I swear one of these I looked at had pause drive. No pause drive. Nope. Yeah, they have 0 and 1 right there. That's a 1. And I just had to build a bunch of, so you wouldn't probably need a 2. Like a 2 is big for pause drive. Also, I don't know how common that would be. This isn't a 2 though, I don't think, unless you're like mangling the dimensions. So this PZ 3.0, is that equivalent to the LTT Phillips or pause drive 1? Maybe. Like pause drive's not normally done in, like for those of you over in Europe that use these regularly, like, is a pause drive 3 millimeters? Would you label it? Like I would assume that would be a PZ1, and you would label it as such. Weird. So the weirdness continues, where we have that weird row of torques, right? And then we have a PZ 1.0, which is a 1 millimeter. I don't know, is that a 00? Does that exist in PosDrive? I don't know, I'm not heavy on the PosDrive. Usually I'm using like 2 and 1 are the ones I'm up to using. Okay, so we have H down to 0.7. That doesn't... You can't get that the fuck out. You can see there's glue on it. You can see... No, look at that, the chrome is already coming off from that edge right there. I told you they're cheap as chips. Like, that is the worst finish ever. Also, with the chrome on this, that's might as well be round. And it's supposed to be a 0.7 hex. Here's a 0.7 hex from LTT. That has a look at that. That has defined sides. Look at that. Right? 0.7 hex from iFixit. Defined sides. Yeah. I wonder if even if I go to the old iFixit kit, this is part of the reason why you used to, like, even though it's iFixit kit and there were like all these knockoffs, and realistically it was just like a better binned version, right, of already existing Chinese ones. Look at that. That hex, not 0.7, despite, look at that, it has better finish than this brand new Corsair kit, and you can very clearly see that it is actually hexagonally Allen key shaped, whereas this fucking thing, seriously, that looks like a round, like it there's a couple glints. I cannot feel if I spin this in my finger, you can't. Wow. Like I said, I don't know how confident. The hex 0.9 seems fine. It's those smaller bits. Once they put that chrome finish on it, that one they also have. Maybe it's mine that's just bad too, because it's got this wavy where it's already peeling on that edge too. Remember I already showed you that? That's why you don't want chromed bits. You'd rather have like a finish that already has that. Then you've got the what they call the U2.6 and U3.0, which are these guys right there, those three. This is a 4, a 6, and an 8. I believe those are the millimeters. That's a 6 and an 8. So once again, I don't know where they're coming with their 2.6 and 3.0. Fuck if I know, right? JM-CRV. Oh, that finish is coming off too. You see that? Look at that. You know what that could actually be, because that's where it's in the adhesive. The adhesive could be having a reaction with... Oh, look at this. This whole thing just comes out. See what I mean? I told you. They just glued on this little portion that lets you put the driver on. And yeah, you can see this wasn't even aligned very well. Yeah, see, that one didn't have... Oh, it's got tarnish. There's actually... The chrome got taken off. You can see that little copper color? That's what's actually under there to make it shiny. JM-CRV metal. No. JM-CRV metal. No. Not the RV. Like metal drill bits. High speed, blah. It doesn't... Oh, that was my ankle. Oh, what are those things called? Like your ankle bits that stick out that are balls? I whacked that right in my cart. Oh, gosh. So, yeah. Quality of this set is... These look to be the same. I think everybody uses the same fucking nut drivers. To be truthful, they all always look... Some of them are magnetic. I've seen that before. But... Okay, so that one looks real stuck. Is it Pause Drive 2.0? Here, you can even see on the bottom of this one, the taper is inconsistent. Look at that. You see that? Like the amount that's taken off here, the center circle is not in the center. This is like the same quality bits that I got from the ROG bent screwdriver that came with a very high-end ROG, I believe, motherboard. I have 2 of those bits back here still. Let's see here. Hey, you want to see some quality bits? Right here. Here's a iFixit, supposedly S2 steel. They always seem cheaper. Those are Wiha. There you go. Wiha T9. Sadly, this kit that I have, it's just this, that could be the whole one if you see all those holes. I just have a small variation. It only goes down to a T6, and often I really need that T5. These two I use often on here, though. The P000 and the P00. They're really nice quality. Their 2 and their 1 are kind of chonkula. But these 3, great. Here we have 0.5 by 1.5. So they're literally telling you like the width of that. That's how you would do that. These are what remind me. Okay, ain't no way that's S2. I think legally though, if they market S2, it's got to be. But it's about the jankest S2 I've seen, because normally it's gonna have that sort of finish, like I showed you earlier on that. S2 Phillips 2. I don't know. I think the finish on these freebie... Yeah, I would argue the finish on these that I'm making fun of all the time, these ROG bits that came with that bent screwdriver, are probably better quality than these CRV bits in the Corsair. Yeah, that's my worry, is if you, once you put this in a couple times, that is just going to fall out. And that kind of helps here because this locks them in. Like even if you go like that, they don't move. I've had this one for COVID at least. Corona-chan there. My worry about this is that once these become loose, if you drop that like that, you're going to hear dink, 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 because they're all gonna fall out. Yeah, the whole thing. Half of those already got more out. The other thing that can happen with this too is because that foam's not like adhered in here in any way. They could rise up and the bits go down further. So you might actually see, because you want to push the foam down, not the bits. Unless you're getting this for a screaming deal on Corsair, I cannot recommend it. I mean, I said that the magnet on here was pretty good. Okay, let's try the LTT. I mean, the LTT is much stronger. Let's try this little guy here. This is from Tactical Keychains. And he goes with this, the tweak. Maybe about the same. What about the OG iFixit? Just because I don't have the, I replaced my iFixit with LTT. OG iFixit. I would say it has more pull. Maybe. So maybe it's on par with an old iFixit design. This may look more impressive for those wondering. I would rather use that. Eventually you'll have to deal with the O-rings coming off, because they're literally just O-rings. My fix for that was just wrapping some friction tape around there to give you a little bit of grip. Actually, I've done the same to a, there you go. Here's some friction tape on an iFixit electric screwdriver. There you go, because what happens is this thing is not strong enough. Sounds like an electric toothbrush. Not strong enough to break things loose or torque them tight. It basically, so I don't use it. If it can only run them down, what's the point? Also, it's very not, most laptops that you're going to use 4mm bits for, like this one, right? This is really not all that ergonomic. You want a button like here or something. Maybe I could get good with it, but I was never like, I don't know. Let me know how you guys would use it. And here, if you hold it like this with your fingertips, like a pencil, you won't have enough torque. So you need to like grip it, right? But yeah, without this on here, this is super smooth, and I couldn't break it loose and then run it. You gotta run your pinky. So this should be like up here otherwise, if you ask me. Like this is more like you're doing it here. Nobody takes apart a laptop like that. So that's why if you guys are like, I didn't even know iFixit had it. I would personally never actually recommend it. I guess if you're doing a whole bunch of stuff, maybe it is only 20 bucks. Look at that play in that though. That is a fucking ton of play. It's not impressive for 20 bucks. Let's put it that way. A lot of people use the Wow stick. Those are about as powerful as these. There was some like moddable off of AliExpress, but I haven't seen an ES121, I think, or something like that. Those are really cool. They were like properly geared, and should have picked up one of those when I could. But I don't know. I feel like with a proper, especially a full proper, and this doesn't spin either. This should spin. If you're not gonna make this the button, like I would rather have a switch to change direction and a button, or a grip like this. Like nobody takes apart their laptop like, or you'd have to hold it like that. That is the most awkward arm thing. If you're going down, you want to go like this. You want to grab it and burp. So, if you guys were wondering why you didn't see me use that often, it's because, yeah, I've got it, but here, even Bosch understands. You know that, or if you just push down, it goes and you flip. Or if you hold it this way, right? Same thing. Hit that in the back of your hand. The newer Bosch is even nicer if you haven't caught my video on that. I do like that they added the hole so you can stick this through and push down and break something loose, right? But they have not included anything to do that with, which is its own issue, right? So there's nothing long enough in here to put through to do that with. It's way too ass heavy. Like, where's the balance point? There? You know, but you're holding it here often, or you're going like this. So why manipulate all the mass here, I guess would be my, and also with part of the reason it's so heavy is this big butt, right? Part of the reason why the big butt is an issue is it does, like, I want to grip down more. I want to grip here, the thinner part. Even with my apparently bigger than average hand, I am gripping like just as this starts to get skinny, not where it's still a little fat, right? Where realistically you want to be down here when you're spinning it. Cutting this height down to like a quarter of that would solve that instantly. Also, if you don't need this much height on this, get rid of it. Like I said, ignoring the O-rings that wear out, and like these are just little divots, I would have probably serrated them vertically, not knurled, but vertical serration, so you can go real, real quick, because you want skinnier. And then this should have flats on it too. Like I feel like standard iFixit actually does a great job of it. The flats shouldn't be up here; they should be up here, so you can get a real good. And that was a letdown for those wondering. LTT is so good on the knurling, on their full size, and their stubby. Oh my gosh! To be truthful, I'd rather do laptop repair with this. Take this guy, pop it in there, or I should probably better off take the LTT one. God, so it's harder to get out. See, this is the difference. LTT did make one that goes directly in the hole. That is the 4mm to 1/4 inch adapter. This, lean this way, pull out. This thing. Oh. So, I would more often than not use this with that adapter in there and, various bits. Or if, because LTT's big 1/4 inch bits go so far down, like they have a 0.05 inch hex, right? You don't even need the precision bits a lot of the time. You can just grab one of their little tiny, there's a T5 in a 1/4 inch. You never see that. Pop that in there. Beautiful. That's long enough to get in most places. If you need longer than that, iFixit ain't gonna help you. Look, basically the same length. You're gonna have to get a true dedicated hard shaft precision screwdriver. So I don't know. This is, in my opinion, LTT's biggest contribution. I know the big screwdriver has got them off the ground, and you guys are loving my coverage of their new Prismagic series. And I really like the clear one, like the original clear one. Had to get this orange though. But the stubby, in my opinion, is like a good stubby ratcheting screwdriver. That's a rarity right there. So my final say on the Corsair bit kit is, unless you're getting it for free or significantly cheaper than an iFixit, don't bother. I would even say if you have the old iFixit like this and all your bits are still good, probably still has a warranty even, because those are lifetime. As much as this functions worse, with its little things, these bits are better quality. I'd probably just stick with this, if you've got it and it's working good, because man, some of these bits aren't great. Let's put it that way, right? And they're labeled weirdly without using it. I don't know if that they're gonna fit properly, because they didn't name their Phillips. The Phillips 2 is named 2, but on it it's actually a 3.5mm. That's not how you do Phillips. We had some weird stuff with the pause drive. I'm glad it's got a pause drive, but those are some tiny pause drives. Maybe they exist, maybe they don't. Please, in the comments, if you're from a region that uses that, let me know, What are the normal sizes? Do you normally see them measured in millimeters instead of just numbered? I'm pretty sure they're just numbered. Unless I'm crazy. You know, the layout of this too is like somebody did not think. You want easiest to get on the bottom, or most used, easiest to get on the bottom. So that, say this is up here on your desk. You want to be able to grab and then work your way up, right? That's why these nut drivers are normally way up there, because you're not using them very often. Also, the fact that it goes Torx, 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 when this row of squares and triangles could have easily just been, and if the foam was not labeled, I would already be doing that. Questions, comments, throw them down below. Let me know if there's any other precision screwdriver sets you want me to look at. I know the Tecton guys that made these 3/8 to 1/4 inch hex and 1/4 inch socket. Oh geez, there it is. 1/4 inch socket to 1/4 inch square, I guess, square drive to 1/4 inch hex adapters here. They have a set, and they have a good warranty. I want to say it's $50+ So that's a hard. How many kits do I have around here? This is going to be the one that I may even give away, to be truthful, to somebody who I know that doesn't have the ability to, like, doesn't have an iFixit kit already, and like they don't have the ability to buy themselves one, because it's better than nothing, but I wouldn't actively go and buy it. By the way, I would like to point out something. This is supposedly a Security T20. That is a light dent in there, right? There's a hard pin in a T20. We go to the LTT. Yeah, I grab the T. It's like I use T15, T20, T25 all the time. That is how a Security T20 should look. I couldn't even test. I don't think they have do they have a sim tool in here? You know what? It doesn't matter if they have a sim tool. I will use this 0.8. Fuck if I know. And look at that. I can cover up the tip of that in there. Like, it goes down far enough. Here you go. Look at that. Comparison. Yeah, that's what I thought. I would not count on the Corsair's security bits to actually work in a security Torx. That hole is not deep enough. Like I said, the one on the T6 looks like it's been dented. I think on camera with the angle of the lighting, those might look deeper, but I think on the bigger ones you can probably tell based on, like, you can see the bottom of the hole. And yes, the LTT was a black bit. Let me grab a here. T20. Let's grab that same bit out of here. All right. Boop. Even deeper than the LTT one. Yeah, that ain't gonna fly. Yeah. So I mean, if you got nothing, this is better than that. But oh, I'm trying to put the iFixit kit that got shmoo on it somehow there. Well, please stay tuned. I've got 3 decently large videos right over there. And hit that subscribe button if you want to see more on tools. I'm going to crack those open, and hopefully you'll see you in the next video. Peace.